Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we aren't just looking at the future of work in some abstract
Not
sense.
at all.
We're looking at a specific structural crack that is forming right now in the foundation of the corporate world. And if you're sitting in a mid-level or senior seat at your job, you might already feel the tremors.
Even if you can't quite put a name to it yet, it's a phenomenon that the data is starting to call the entry-level apocalypse.
That sounds dramatic.
I know it sounds like a movie trailer voiceover, but when you look at the numbers we have today, it's honestly the only way to describe the sheer drop-off we're seeing.
We're going to be unpacking a really comprehensive stack of research today to make sense of this. We've got hard labor market data from Revelio Labs,
Yep. Global employer surveys from Generation.
and some really fascinating case studies from companies like JP Morgan, Unilever, Microsoft. The ones trying to solve this. But before we get to the spreadsheets, I want to start with a story.
Okay.
I want to introduce you to Isaac.
And just to be clear, Isaac isn't some hypothetical persona we just invented for the sake of drama.
No, not at all.
His situation is drawn directly from the qualitative interviews in our source material.
Right, so Isaac is a mid-level software engineer at a major tech firm. He's been there, let's say, about 4 years. He's competent, he's ambitious, he knows his stuff. But lately, Isaac is absolutely drowning.
And the reason he's drowning is really the core mystery we're diving into. Because on paper, Isaac should be having the easiest time of his career.
Right, his company just rolled out all these generative AI tools. He's got Copilot, ChatGPT Enterprise.
He should be flying.
That was the promise, wasn't it? That the AI would do the grunt work, the boring stuff, leaving Isaac free to do the big thinking.
But that's not his reality.
No. The reality Isaac is living is that the entry-level hiring at his company has, well, it's effectively stopped. There are no first grads coming in to take the bottom rung of the ladder.
So the pyramid has been flattened, the base is gone.
Exactly. And the tasks that used to be shared across a team, the documentation, basic bug fixes, the first drafts of code that used to be done by juniors,
It's all cascading upward.
it's all on him and his peers. This is the core conflict the research talks about.
Yeah.
Management assumes that AI just seamlessly fills that gap.
They think we have a bot for that.
But Isaac is finding that AI can write code, sure, but it can't design a system. It can't argue with a product manager about why a feature is a terrible idea.
It has no context.
Zero. So Isaac is now doing the high-level architecture work, and he's spell-checking the AI's code. He's the architect and the janitor, and, well, he's burning out.
And that burnout is exactly where we need to start. Because our mission today is to figure out, is cutting these junior roles actually saving money?
Or is it a trap?
Exactly. Are companies saving a salary today only to bankrupt their future expertise pipeline tomorrow?
Let's look at the landscape first. Because if you're listening and thinking, well, my company's still hiring, this sounds like an exaggeration, you might be the outlier.
You really might be. The data from Revelio Labs is, well, it's incredibly stark. Since just 2023, entry-level job postings in the United States have dropped by 35%.
35%. In just a couple of years, that isn't a dip.
No.
That is
but
a massive contraction. That's a cliff.
It is historic. And it's not just an American thing. We have a global survey here from Generation that found 40% of employers have already reduced junior roles specifically because of AI.
Already? Wow.
And here is the kicker. Another 43% are planning to do it in the next 12 months.
Wait, so, doing the math here, we are looking at a scenario where nearly 85% of employers are essentially closing the door for the class of 2025.
In certain sectors, yeah, the impact is highest exactly where you'd expect: tech, customer service, professional services.
Right, the industries that traditionally operated on an apprenticeship model.
You know the drill. You hire 1,000 grads, they do the grunt work, they learn the ropes, and the best ones become your managers down the line.
But I want to play devil's advocate for a second here, because I can hear the CFOs listening to this and saying, so what?
Mm-hmm.
If I look at a junior coder, a lot of what they do is transactional. It's data entry, summarizing meetings, writing boilerplate code. If an AI can do that for, what, $20 a month, why should I pay a human $60,000 a year to do it worse?
And that is the strategic logic. Eliminate the low-value work, cut the cost, flatten the hierarchy, pure efficiency.
It makes sense on a balance sheet. For this quarter, anyway.
For this quarter. But the sources point out a critical flaw in that thinking. They call it the developmental function.
That's just a fancy way of saying learning on the job, right?
Right. See, we tend to view a junior employee's output, the spreadsheet they made, the code they wrote, as the only value they bring. But the process of making that spreadsheet is how they learn organizational context.
It's how they learn who to ask when the numbers look weird.
Exactly. It's how they learn professional judgment.
It's the Karate Kid wax on, wax off principle. You aren't painting the fence because the fence just desperately needs painting right this second.
You're painting the fence to learn the muscle memory.
Right.
And if you replace the fence painter with a robot, you get a painted fence. That's great. The fence looks fine. But you don't get a karate master 5 years later.
You've broken the mechanism that creates senior experts.
You have eliminated the classroom. And it turns out, even that painted fence, the whole efficiency argument, might be a mirage.
This is the productivity tax concept from our notes.
Uh-huh.
This one really surprised me because we're always sold AI is the ultimate time saver.
It is counterintuitive, isn't it? The assumption is AI saves time. But the research shows that U.S. knowledge workers are currently spending an average of 4.5 additional hours per week correcting errors and managing AI outputs.
Wait, hold on. Let's pause on that. They aren't saving time. They're spending an extra half day every week basically grading the AI's homework.
Precisely. And this goes right back to Isaac. The seniors are now the ones doing this validation. The AI generates content, but because of what we call hallucinations.
Which is such a polite term for it. It's basically lying with confidence.
It is. And because the AI confidently asserts something that is just factually wrong, the humans have to be hypervigilant.
And checking a confident lie takes more mental effort than just writing the truth from scratch sometimes.
It really does. There is an Asana study in the pile that notes 77% of workers use AI agents, but nearly 2/3 say the tools are unreliable. That is a terrible batting average for a tool that's supposed to replace your workforce.
And when that reliability fails, it's not just about wasted time. It can be a legitimate disaster. We have a cautionary tale here about Deloitte Australia, this one. This one made me physically wince when I read it.
It is a classic example of what happens when you remove the human safety net. So Deloitte Australia had cut their graduate intake by roughly 18% and eliminated hundreds of junior roles. You know, standard cost cutting.
Okay, sounds like what everyone else is doing.
Right. But then they had a high-profile project for a government client. They used AI to generate content for it. And the AI made significant factual errors.
Oh, no.
Really embarrassing stuff. And because they had thinned out the junior ranks, the people who usually do the initial fact-checking and legwork, it slipped through.
It went straight to the client.
It did. It led to refunds, public apologies, and some pretty serious reputational damage.
See, that illustrates the systemic risk perfectly. We think of juniors as the ones who make mistakes, and seniors as the ones who catch them.
But in this model, the juniors are actually a filter.
Right, and without them, the senior staff become the only line of defense.
And if those senior staff are already suffering from what the sources call digital exhaustion, which 84% of workers report feeling, then things are going to slip through the cracks.
When you remove the bottom layer of the pyramid, the whole structure becomes incredibly brittle.
That's the word for it. Brittle.
Let's pivot to the human side of this.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about headcount and efficiency, but these are real people graduating into a brick wall.
This is where the economists use the term scarring effects.
Define that for us.
So scarring in labor economics refers to the long-term impact of failing to enter the workforce at the normal time. If you graduate in 2025 and you can't get that first job.
It doesn't just delay your career by a year.
No, it depresses your lifetime earnings. It affects your trajectory for decades. It is a permanent financial scar.
And the mental health aspects mentioned in the research is heartbreaking. You have this generation Gen Z that keeps hearing companies say, we value diverse perspectives. We want digital natives.
But then they knock on the door and the door is bolted shut.
Yeah.
It creates a profound dissonance. Anxiety and depression rates are elevated among these grads. They feel like they did everything right, went to school, got the grades, and the game just changed at the last second.
But it's not just the juniors suffering. Let's go back to the missing middle.
The Isaacs, the
Yeah.
mid-level managers.
Right.
They're in a very precarious spot. They're too senior to be fully automated. You can't replace a project manager with a chatbot yet.
Not yet, anyway.
But they don't have the deep, irreplaceable expertise of a 20-year veteran. They are just stuck.
And because the ladder's broken at the bottom, they have no one to delegate to.
Exactly. They're doing the grunt work and trying to manage up while looking over their shoulder at the AI. And the long-term threat, what the researchers call the broken pipeline, is that when the current seniors retire in 10 years,
There's literally no one trained to replace them.
you cannot 3D print a senior engineer.
You cannot. They have to be grown.
and they take about 10 years to grow. If you stop planting the seeds now, you have no harvest in a decade.
Okay, that is a bleak picture. If we stop here, I think our listeners are going to go live in a cabin in the woods.
But the sources do offer a way out. It's not all doom and gloom.
There are companies looking at this and saying, we need to do this differently.
Yes, and the shift is moving from eliminating roles to redesigning them. It's about true human-AI collaboration.
Let's talk about Unilever. They came up as a positive example. They didn't just fire their junior analysts, right?
No, they realized that if the AI does the math, the human needs to do the meaning. So they redefined the junior analyst role. The new focus is on prompt design, validating outputs, and this is the key phrase, stakeholder storytelling.
Stakeholder storytelling. I love that. Unpack that a bit.
So previously, a junior analyst might spend 35 hours a week cleaning data in Excel and 5 hours putting it into a PowerPoint.
The classic experience.
Right. Now, the AI cleans the data in maybe an hour. So what does the human do for the other 39 hours?
Hopefully not just scrolling social media.
No. They spend that time interpreting the findings. They're learning how to talk to brand managers. They're learning to say, the data says sales are down, and here is why, based on the business context.
So they're skipping the drudgery and moving straight to the value-add skill.
Exactly. That actually sounds like a much better job.
It is. It accelerates their growth. Instead of being a spreadsheet robot for 3 years, they're becoming a junior strategist from day one.
But, and this is a big but, it requires the company to invest in training them to do that.
You can't just give them the tool and walk away.
No. Which brings us to Accenture. They have this program called Digital Skills at Scale.
What did they do differently regarding mentorship?
This is a critical detail that I wish every manager listening would, I don't know, tattoo on their forehead.
Okay.
Accenture uses mentorship pods, groups of 6 to 8 peers with a senior mentor. But the magic isn't the pod, it's the workload adjustment.
So they didn't just say, hey, do your full 50-hour-week job and also mentor these 6 kids in your spare time.
Exactly. That's what we call the unfunded mandate of mentorship. It's usually just added on top of a full plate, so it's the first thing to get dropped when things get busy.
But Accenture actually removed other tasks from the mentors' plates.
Yes, to ensure they had dedicated, billable time to teach.
That seems to be the recurring theme here. You can't just drop AI into an organization and hope for the best. You need governance. You need structure.
You really do. We need to look at how to stop the Beloit situation from happening again. JPMorgan Chase offers a really interesting case study here.
What do they do?
They realized that prompt engineering isn't enough. You need quality assurance. So they implemented a multi-tier review structure.
How does that work in practice?
It's a chain of custody. The AI generates the output. Then the creator, the analyst, reviews it. And then a senior expert reviews that. But for client-facing stuff, they have a designated AI quality officer.
An AI quality officer.
Oh.
That is a brand new job title.
It is, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it. Their sole job is to ensure the AI isn't hallucinating, and they also track AI near misses.
Like a safety incident in a factory.
Exactly like that. If the AI hallucinates a fact, but they catch it before it goes to a client, they don't just fix it and move on. They record it. They treat it as a learning opportunity.
To retrain the model or update the prompt guidelines.
Right. They are building a system that assumes the tool will fail, and they have protocols to catch it.
That is so smart. Instead of pretending the magic box is perfect, they treat it like a powerful but dangerous power tool.
Precisely. And then there's the issue of career paths. If you flatten the organization, how does anyone get promoted?
Good question.
Microsoft tackled this by creating a totally new matrix for career progression. They distinguish between depth, becoming a super specialist in one thing, and breadth, understanding systems.
A matrix, okay.
And they introduced accelerated tracks. They acknowledged that, hey, with AI, a smart junior might reach mid-level competency in 18 to 24 months instead of 3 years.
That makes sense. I had a car with lane assist.
You pick up the basics quicker, you do.
Yeah.
But Microsoft still requires the mentorship. You can move up faster, but you can't skip the human element of learning how the corporation actually works.
So if we zoom out,
Yeah.
what is the big idea here? Because it feels like we're talking about something bigger than just hiring policies or HR manuals.
We are. The expert view here is that we need a strategic reframing. We need to stop viewing entry-level hiring as a cost, a line item to be minimized, and start viewing it as infrastructure.
Like R&D.
Exactly like R&D, or like buying servers. It's innovation infrastructure. Atlassian is the hero case study here. While everyone else in tech was slashing graduate programs, Atlassian kept theirs running.
Why? What did they see that others missed?
Their rationale was innovation optionality.
Okay, what does that mean?
They realized that grads bring fresh perspectives and new tech skills that the seniors who have been coding the same way for 15 years might actually lack.
That's a good point. A senior dev might be an expert in Java, but the grad coming in has been using the latest AI frameworks since they were in college.
Right. If you cut off the fresh blood, you stagnate. You become an echo chamber of old ideas. And more importantly, you become brittle.
Brittle. That's a word that keeps coming up.
Resilience is the key. If you concentrate all your knowledge in a few burned-out seniors like Isaac, you have created single points of failure.
If Isaac quits or gets sick or just snaps.
The whole department collapses. But if you have a distributed team with juniors learning the ropes, the organization can survive the loss of an expert.
It really connects back to that idea of not automating yourself out of business. It's about sustainability.
It is. It's about realizing that efficiency today can mean extinction tomorrow if you aren't careful.
So let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the entry-level apocalypse isn't just a scary headline, it's a data-backed reality.
A 35% drop in job postings, companies cutting the bottom rung to save cash.
But we've also seen the hidden price tag, the burnout,
Yeah.
the errors, the productivity tax where we spend hours fixing AI mistakes.
It's a short-term illusion of efficiency that creates long-term organizational debt.
And the choice seems pretty clear. Organizations can choose to hollow out, burn through their human capital until there's nothing left, or they can redesign.
They can follow the Unilever or Accenture model and build a system where humans and AI grow together. That is the choice.
And it's a choice that has to be made now because these pipelines take years to rebuild.
You can't just turn the tap back on in 5 years and expect to have senior experts immediately.
I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. The research refers to this moment in history as a natural experiment. We are watching a massive global experiment in organizational restructuring.
And we are the lab rats in this scenario.
And the early results suggest that companies eliminating entry points are conducting a dangerous gamble. But here is the question I want you to ask yourself. If we automate the doing, the writing of the code, the drafting of the brief, are we also automating the thinking?
That is the real danger.
Because if you never struggle through the first draft, do you ever truly learn how to structure an argument? If you never debug the simple code, do you ever understand how the system breaks?
Are we automating ourselves out of the ability to create new experts?
That's a question every leader needs to answer before they sign off on that next round of hiring freezes.
Absolutely.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.